Welcome all to Week 2 of the GWA Pokemon Draft League. Last week we got a solid Week 1 victory against Milk, but this week can your House of Mouse keep up that momentum against Pup and his South Bend Snowflakes? I must be the first to admit I do not have an amazing matchup this week. Pup's got some of the strongest bulky offense I have seen. Tornadus leads his team off as an incredible regenerator pivot with an amazing speed tier. Iron Hands is insanely difficult to KO and can output some insane damage if running either a setup variant or with attack investment. Same goes for his King Gambit, who forces most of my team to run options to shut down its trademark Sucker Punch 50/50s, and Screamtail can keep his team healthy with Wish Pass, while being able to threaten me with its wide utility, like Encore for example. Iron Moth can pose a massive threat in the late game with its solid coverage options and sweeping capability with Booster Energy. Base Ogerpon threatens big grass-type damage while being a generally solid switch-in to Palafin. Sandaconda and Goodra offer great options on both sides of the defensive spectrum to soak up damage and fire off strong hits or set up in my face. Of course, I can't forget about his Terra Captains now, Inteleon being able to Terra Water, Electric, and Flying to threaten huge special damage, Avalugg to drink hits with Terra Ice, Fairy, or Ghost, and finally the GOAT Magcargo with Terra Fire, Grass, and Dragon to eat up hits and possibly get off a Shell Smash. And finally Volbeat is mainly there as a potential risk with its utility move pool alongside Prankster, but I'm not too worried about it. To start us off with a bang, I wanted a strong lead option to threaten big damage into his defensive cores early in the game, so I had to whip out the Meteor Beam Colossal. Meteor Beam is able to pick up massive damage against my opponent, being turned into a one-turn move that's held Power Herb. And if he leads Iron Hands, I can Terra Ghost to block a fighting move while getting off an Iron Defense, which can deal huge amount of damage in return thanks to Body Press. Scald is there mostly as a last-ditch effort to get off a potential burn on Amon when I can't get the Oko. No matter how fun Cole will be this week, he needs some of his teammates to back him up after he's put in his work, so of course I gotta follow him up with mixed bulk up Palafin. With Terra Avalugg around, it's always able to switch in freely against most forms of Palafin, but not this guy, because with Hydro Pump I am able to get a guaranteed 2-hit KO. Next to Ice Punch for Ogre and Jet Punch as my main stab option, not much loves eating Palafin's bulked up attacks anymore. Now, with Avalugg in mind, I definitely needed a strong special attacker to chunk his bulky squad, and since I don't love getting King Gambit in for free with Latios, I thought Calm Mind of Raikou could put in some work here. With fully maxed Fizz Def and a Gen 3 Classic sub Calm Mindset, I am always able to drink hits from his more physically oriented team, being able to set up fairly reliably on Iron Hands and Ogerpon, especially if I can get off a Scald Burn. And Thunderbolt is my choice of stab this week. Not even Ogerpon can reliably check it throughout the battle, since once I get a burn off, he is never able to break my sub. Next up, I noticed that outside of Torn and Ogre, he has a bit of a ground weakness, and there is one mon I know that can take both of those on fairly reliably, and that is Booster Speed Iron Treads. With EQ and Ice Spinner, I'm able to hit most of his team for neutral damage, and with him bring all boots last week, I thought the utility of Knockoff and Volt Switch would be generally more impactful than Rocks this week. However, even despite Tread's great speed, I really wanted something to answer Ogre and Torn more reliably, whilst also being a solid answer into Gambit Sucker Punch. Thus, Weavile should be the perfect answer. Since both Torn and Ogre die to Ice Shard at +2 anyways, that's my only Ice move this week, alongside Swords Dance. Knockoff has my best Dark Stab option, as well as Low Kick to not only hit King Gambit, but also a solid move into both Iron Hands and Avalugg before it Terras. Now finally, I really wanted something to be able to reliably wear down his bulk, and what better way than Toxic Red Card Revavroom. With Toxic, I can fairly freely wear down his bulky squad, and if he wants to try to switch in Gambit against a Gunk Shot or Toxic, he will then have to eat the follow-up double power Temper Flare in return. This alongside Parting Shot to lower his attacking power and a red card to force out a sweeper getting out of control, Revavroom is going to be the glue that holds this team together. And that is the team for Week 2 of the GWA Pokemon Draft League. Of course, drop a like and subscribe if you're enjoying my Draft League content. All the other coaches' channels are linked in the description, so please be sure to check them all out. Massive thanks to my guys, Drees and Elking for the prep help this week, and with that all said, let's get right into the battle. Alright everybody, welcome to the battle. Okay, this is exactly what I expected Pup to bring. This is pretty much high-key exactly what I expected. Okay, come on, Colossal. Okay, lead Colossal. I think he might go for lead Hands. If he does do that, then I just always set up an Iron Defense. If he goes for lead Torn, I just rip a Meteor Beam. Screamtail. That's an iffy one. That's a little bit of an iffy one, but I should be fine. Ogerpon. I don't have to Terra. Actually, no. I do want to Terra Ghost, mainly because I don't want to get Stomping Tantrumed. Could go for Avalugg, honestly. And if he does go for Avalugg, good for me, because that means I can just throw off a Meteor Beam straight away. I never fear anything on his team, really. Even if Ogerpon is banded, I still live, and I can always just go for whatever the heck. Meteor Beam on it. So, good luck. Have fun, pup. Oh, man. Whew. Gotta shake out the nerves, lads. Shake out the nerves. Hands. Okay. That's totally fine by me. I'm just going to go for the Terra Ghost and Iron Defense up right away. Okay. Alright. This is totally fine. Because Body Press does a solid chunk to him. He could go for like SD or Bulk Up. But Bulk Up would probably be the worst thing for me. But it still isn't bad. I don't think this thing gets any dark coverage. It definitely doesn't get any ghost coverage. So Terra Ghost Cole is fine here. That's fine. That's totally good. Get my shit up. Get my shit up. Come on, Cole. Set up this Iron Defense, buddy boy. I had no idea what the hell he's gonna do. He's probably expecting me to rock, if I had to guess. Okay. Could be going into Ogre to knock off or something, but I always live a knockoff, even Bandit, I believe. I might have to double. Oh, it's going Torn, just ripping the Torn. That is A-okay with me. Now I'm just gonna Meteor Beam this guy. If he goes back into hands, that's totally fine. I waste the... he could go for knock, but if I get the burn on that, that is totally fine. Honestly, I am just totally chill eating a knockoff in general, because he still has to switch regardless, and Iron Hands is his only switch in. And I'm already at +2 at this point. Ooh! Sheesh! That's a nasty crit. Nasty, nasty crit. Oh, okay. Yep. This is 110% going to KO. He could be Sash. If he is Sash, this is still okay, because I am max special attack. Yes! Let's go, Cole! Let's go, buddy! Lead Colossal, everybody! And that's his main special attacker. Nothing else really wants to eat anything now. Yes! Colossal! Ah, this is so good. This is so, so good. That crit was nasty as hell. Really makes me sad. But this is fine. Okay. I might actually just live this. That's Supreme Overlord, but I am at +2. Kowtow, this might still... Okay, no. That's still A-okay. I was at +2, so I think that might have been okay. But regardless, I am fine with that trade. I am 100% fine with that trade. Now I'm gonna go for Iron Threads. Iron Threads. Okay. Now I kind of just want to... I could eat... I'm gonna knock. I'm gonna knock here. He probably is expecting me to go for Earthquake. He could just go for, like, Sucker Punch or something. Just go for something that's damage. But I do want to get rid of anything that he switches in. Any of those items. Okay. That's still fine. Choppleberry, okay. Alright. I mean, this is still fine. I'm gonna go into Lock and Mirari. Because this is likely going for Sucker Punch if I had to guess. Damn, just going for the raw Kowtow. That is fine, I guess. Huh. Is he not running Sucker? Is he not running Sucker? That would be interesting. I want to go for Parting Shot. There we go. Yeah, there's definitely a shot that he's not running Sucker. Don't know what else he would be running, though. I'm gonna go for Thunderclap here. Likely going for CC or Drain Punch. Okay. Okay. I can't really tell if that's enough to break sub or not. I'm gonna sub. I'm just gonna sub. Okay. If he goes into Ogre, that means I just get a free Scald. Oh, Scream Tail. Okay. Alright. He could go for Encore. I could scout it. I'll scout it for one. Oh, shoot. Okay. Well, mistake did not matter, but I will scout that for one turn, just in case. Okay. Also gives me leftovers healing, which is nice. Okay. This is fine. I'm gonna go into Lock and Mirari, then I'm gonna go for Toxic. Okay. Switching into Ogre. Okay. Okay. That is Defiant, so I'm not gonna go for that. I'm gonna go for the Gunk. Okay, Stomping Tantrum. Okay. I did have a feeling he'd be running that. Alright, this gives me good information. Good info. Okay. I'm going for that. Do I have the big balls play? I'll just go for Knock. I'll play it safe. I do think he's gonna switch. I don't think he's gonna go for he could go into Gambit. But if he does go into Gambit, then I can just go for Low Kick. I was tempted to go for Low Kick right away. Okay, the Lug. That would have been nice, but this is still fine. That actually might be... Okay, Rocky Helmet. I'm gonna go into Dyson here. Scout this out. I could have gone into Palafin as well. Going Palafin probably would have been fine, but I kind of want to sack this a little bit if he goes for Body Press. Yeah. Okay. This is not going as well as I would have hoped, but I mean, this is still fine. Because Palafin can kind of just win from here. In theory, of course. Like, once I get a bulk up, I am chillin'. Okay, yeah, he's likely just gonna go for body press. I am just sacking off a lot of my team here. I should live this. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just gonna go for Thunderbolt, I think. I'm just gonna go for that T-Bolt. I could go for Scald. Yeah, I'll go for Scald, actually. Getting the burn off on this or something else would be definitely really nice. Hell yeah, that's perfect. That's great. I can turn this thing into a setup opportunity then. Okay. Okay. Because now that this thing is actually weakened, this is not going to end out well. There we go. Yep, withdraw. Likely gonna go into Ogre or Screamtail. Screamtail, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep attacking this thing at this point. Just gonna get my damage off. Okay. It's gonna have to attack this thing eventually. And getting off any kind of damage is definitely really good. D-Gleam. Okay, that's fine. I just want to get my damage off. If I can get this thing parried, that's also really, really good. Because that means, okay, that's fine. If I can get this thing parried, oh. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna stall out a few turns here. I'm just gonna go for my Thunderbolts. Yeah, this is fine. Get my para, please. Any para? No para. No para. Alright. This is fine. Palafin can still win from here. Because with enough bulk ups, I can live pretty much any hit from Ogre just fine. Ooh, okay, good, good. Damn, no paras, no paras. It's fine. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for T-Bolts. If he wants to go into hands, that's fine. Okay. That's good. Alright. Right. There we go. Then I'm just gonna go for knock on this guy. Ooh. That doesn't kill. Damn. Okay, that explains it. Alright, yeah, this is still fine. I got Ice Shard. Okay. Go for it. I want this thing to die. I really want this thing to die. I don't think he has Protect. I think if he had Protect, he would have used it. Okay. Good, good. Weavile at this point should be able to outspeed most of his team still. I imagine it still outspeeds Gambit. Doesn't outspeed Hands, yeah. Okay. I just want to go for my damage off on it. Yep. Drain Punch. Okay. I could have gone for Knock. Yeah, would have still been the same sort of deal. Okay. Now I go into my powered up Palafin. If he has Thunder Punch, I should still be able to live it fine, especially since I am bulk up. It's going to be a 1-0 if anything, but I'm going to bulk. I'm just going to keep bulking up. Supercell. If he supercells, that's not good. Thunder Punch. Oh! Oh, bro, ain't no way. Ain't no way, bro. Okay. Well, uh, that that's really annoying. Well, I guess I can't win now. Yeah. Uh, well, GG's pup. That crit on Colossal sucked. This para on Palathin sucked. But at the end of the day, you just played better. Like, I could have played a little bit better, of course, but it is what it is. Like, I don't really know what else to say. Sometimes the game just rolls like that. Um, but yeah, of course, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this week of the GWA Pokemon Draft League. I'm gonna try to get into call with Pup and see if he's willing to do a post game interview, and I'll see you guys there if so. But if not, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All right, everybody, welcome to the post game interview. Say hello to the people, Pup.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Pup. That
Yeah.
was a crazy battle.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. I really respect the punching glove hands. It probably didn't matter too much because I was expecting AV, so you probably just would have like lived hits better. And like in all honesty, you came in late game and just did damage. So, but I respect it regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it was really there. Like, it made the Palathin a roll to just be one shot if you didn't bulk up in my face. So it was mostly there just for that. And then, like, wave crash damage would have taken you out if you had that. But it's also nice if you wanted to bring, like, Rocky Helmet or Bolivar or something like that.
Yeah.
To make sure that I wouldn't have to deal with that chip damage on me.
Yeah, like the more I was looking at it, I was just like, our Balava is really, really good here. I really want to bring it, but that at the same time, it was just like, this is also the game that Cole looks the best in, and I really wanted Cole to put in work.
Yeah, it almost did. It was so close, but the Bleak Wind crit it was really important there for sure.
Yeah, the Bleak Wind crit definitely was really helpful. I was sort of going back and forth on whether or not I even wanted to Terra that first turn, because I thought that it was just like, an obvious like Volt Switch or like swap on your part. I thought it was like that, but I was like, I don't want to risk it. And that's like sort of the deal sometimes. Sometimes you gotta make those guesses, because if I didn't Terra there and you swapped into something else, could have made a world of a difference. Not
Yeah,
being
for
weak,
sure.
not being neutral to Bleak Wind, as well as not being weak to Kowtow. Like, I know Cole's defensive typing is not that great, but funnily enough, here it actually was really, really nice to have that, because I could always just tear out of it and bait you into something else if I didn't. But say la vie.
Yeah, it was actually really solid into my team. And then even with the ghost typing, it was the type that made a lot of sense into me. But I don't know, I wasn't expecting it to be the lead and to just be Iron Defense plus Meteor Beam with a super heat set to see. I really should have just put knockoff of Horn, but I was worried about weakness policy.
uh,
But if I knocked off that power herb, then no Meteor Beam comes off.
Yeah, I definitely was expecting knock as a possible option as well, but I'm also flame body too, so would have been a little bit nice. Like getting a burn off, it wouldn't have mattered like too much, but it's like a little bit of chip damage can kind of mess up with like calcs and stuff sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also like uh, I was also iron defense at that time, so I was still like not taking much damage, and anything you swapped in, that's just chip on something. So would have been nice.
Exactly.
That's sort of like my whole deal. Like I tried to plan out those first few turns as well as I could, and what do you know? The first few turns are the only turns that actually worked out well for me.
Until you got crit.
Yeah, until I got crit, but that's just kind of like trademark for the Steve SVU channel. In all honesty, I'm never
Yeah.
one for good luck.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Moving on, I really love your Paladin set here, like especially defensive, like little speed investment, Hydro Pump on there for my Avalanche. I just think it's a great set there.
Yeah, it's funny. I can't remember what I was running initially. I think I was just running like just a raw banded set, to be honest. at first, but then I didn't like how you could just switch into like Ogerpon. Nah, not Ogerpon. What? Oh, Avalugg. That's what it was. Because Avalugg with max defense, it was a roll to two hit KO. But if I missed out on any of those rolls, then it was just like really rut row because I'm just dealing way more damage to myself and with Wave Crash, and then like you just get a body press off. And if you're Iron Defense, that makes it even worse for me. So I actually sent my team to Drees, and he's the one who put me on the mixed Palafin angle.
Of course it was him.
Yeah.
Always looking for my demise.
Initially, he was saying Boom Burst, because I'm pretty sure it does like comparable damage to Avalugg, but I went with Hydro Pump mainly just because it meant that I didn't have to run a minus defense nature to boost my attack, because Adamant doesn't 2-hit KO Lug, but Adamant Hydro Pump does. So I thought that would be a little bit better to just, maintain my bulk a bit better.
Yeah, that's a great set. And like, so I won this league a couple seasons ago using Palafin, and you just have to use it in these like weird ways. You can't just bring Banded, Jet Punch, Wave Crash every week. Your opponent's gonna know that. So
Yeah.
bringing it like this, it makes a lot of sense and almost got me.
Yeah, it could have, but I didn't respect hands enough. I didn't respect the hands. Yeah.
But man, I was also really worried about T-Spikes. I know you said you had funny thoughts on there with Temper Flare. It's a great bring. I'm just really glad that you didn't bring it.
Yeah, like thinking back and forth, like I definitely see why I ran like this Toxic Revavroom, mainly just because if I didn't waste my red card so early and I just like got it in earlier, I could have been able to get a Toxic off a bit more freely. But like having to switch it in meant that I didn't get that free chance very easily, and then of course like a Temper Flare would have gotten boosted with either Gunk Shot or Toxic. So I think just like swapping it in and wasting my red card so early was one of the big issues with this. I just felt like I just didn't play around the switching very, very well this game.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there with your play. But I mean, still, the prep was 100% there. I feel like the prep, it was really good in this game. I feel like a lot of stuff just wasn't what I expected at all. With the Raikou as well being max Fizz Def, the Revavroom not being even like setup sweeping, I thought that looked decent into my team as well. The Cole set, the no triple axle on the file was also interesting to him, but definitely worked out for you.
Yeah.
And how it played out at least.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I had Triple Axle on the Weavile initially, but then I really wanted something to be able to hit King Gambit, because you don't like clicking Sucker Punch into Weavile most of the time, so I could kind of just throw off Low Kick fairly freely, and I mean, I don't get stab on it, but I still have 120 base power move into Iron Hands, so that is still like a decent move to click into it as well. So I was like, low kick over triple axle, probably pretty good. I was actually playing around with a potential like banded Weavile for a bit, but I didn't like how much that depended on getting like predicts right with switching and stuff. And I didn't like how much I would be forced to switch out afterwards.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, I have Parafairy Avalon in the back.
True.
What can you really do to that?
Yeah.
Max step on that thing really shuts down a lot of the powerful options you have on your team with that Palafin as well. Even like the treads, if you're clicking EQ, it's not doing anything to that Pokemon, even Heavy Slam or something like that.
Yeah, Avalugg was definitely a really good mon into me for sure. And like, it's funny because I was looking at your team in team preview and I'm like, yep, this is pretty much the exact team I was expecting. Like, Lug, initially I was like talking myself out of like, the denial phase of the stages of creeping, like, no, Avalugg is 100% coming. But I initially was like playing around like, but what if he had the balls to run Terra Dragon Magcargo instead?
I wanted to so badly. Didn't have Weavile on this team, Magcargo would be there. It's gonna come to like 3 or 4 games, and it's gonna get a sweep sometime this season.
Yeah, I was really hoping that you would decide to be funny with the Magcargo because, objectively speaking, Avlug is better into me. But I was really hoping. But regardless, the Screamtail, it's funny because you're gonna see me clicking Thunderbolt into this thing, just like praying for a para, and I getting so frustrated I wasn't getting anything. And then
Just sneak over cloak.
yeah, then I knocked off the Covert Cloak, and I'm like, oh, I see, I see.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
but
that's
what?
just there for the Latios, so you can't get the next rank
Oh,
of Luster Purge.
oh yeah, yeah, you're right. Because, well, I do feel like Screamtail does kind of just freely switch in on Latios most of the time, anyways. But for sure, if I'm like a weakness policy set with like Shadow Ball, getting a minus SpedF into that and then eating a follow up Shadow Ball is just not ideal. So I 100% get you there.
Yeah, I just didn't want to get hacked out. It's happened way too many times in the past. You get a drop with Shadow Ball, you get a drop with Luster Purge, you get a drop with everything else that you could possibly get, and I just didn't want any of that smoke.
Yeah, for sure. I see the Ogre Pawn as well. This is like the only thing I didn't fully expect was like, Synthesis, but I was like, Yachi probably is gonna be coming, Stomping Tantrum's probably gonna be here, but I just sort of like talked myself out of like playing around those things,
Yeah,
and I probably shouldn't have done that. That's kind of just on me, but
yeah. I think with Synthesis there, like if you are choice band and Palafin, if you lock yourself into like Jet Punch, I can come in, I can heal myself up. I don't have to ever clip Ivy Cudgel
mhm.
into like Latios that might want to switch in, or Flame Body on the Colossal that might want to switch into me. I
Yeah.
can always just click a little bit more neutrally into that. Also good into Treads. I just thought that mon was definitely like the last Pokemon on my team for sure. It was between that and like potentially Sandaconda was good in the matchup with Lair versus the team,
Mhm.
or even Moth if I was so scared of T-Spike.
Yeah, for sure. And I was also like, I know you mentioned this when we were talking before, but I was also like, he brought all boots one week. I can't really count him out on doing boots on half of his shit again.
Yeah,
uh,
week one, just 6 boots. It worked out really well there. I I knew I've been talking a lot of game about running boots every single week. I just had to pull out the stops in week 2.
yeah, and run no boots because of how scared I was that you'd run all boots again and bait me into running no hazards.
Yeah. When I saw the goal lead, I figured you were just gonna hazard stack me and I was gonna get called out on turn 1. But
Mhm.
luckily that did not happen. Did have rapid spin on Avalug in the back, but I really didn't want to have to use that.
Yeah, for sure. Avalug does not love clicking rapid spin, especially when it just like wants to be clicking body press or recover 90% of the time. Um, but yeah, that was one thing looking into your team too. With both Colossal and Raikou, I was like, if I get a little lucky and get a few scald burns here and there, I
Yeah,
did get it.
you
I
get
did
some
get it.
stone burns, you get Calm Mind up, and you just can't die.
Yep, that's pretty much exactly it. Like Ogre Pawn, Max Attack, Ivy Cudgel doesn't even break sub on Raikou. Yeah, so I'm just like, literally, if you weren't running Encore Screamtail, I think when Raikou came in and got that sub up as you switched it in, like it might have just been like wraps from there. In all honesty, like
Yeah,
depending,
100%.
like, but honestly, that's again on me too because I didn't respect Encore enough. But and it's definitely really really good prep. I like the Encore T Wave. And then, like, yeah, you only really need Dazzling Gleam into my team. Like, doesn't hit treads, but I mean, in all honesty, like, you don't really like staying in on treads anyways, so not a huge deal.
And also, like, Revenant Room, if that one wants to come in and try to set up on me, I just put T-Wave versus that thing or on for it.
Yeah, for sure. Because then, like, if I try setting up on you, then, like you said, oh, sorry. Then you encore me into Shift Gear or Toxic Spike or anything like that, or you para me with T-Wave, and it's just like, it's not something I really love to handle.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's also kind of funny because when you didn't click Sucker Punch on King Gambit before, I was like convincing myself, he could just not be running Sucker Punch.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I had to take out the trend since they wanted to stay in. I felt like it made a lot of sense for you to either like just run a bunch of substitute on your team to counter it, or try to run rocks or something like that, iron defense maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what, it was just always the play that I was going to make.
Yeah, I was also one thing too that I was kind of just going with since I was I had parting shot and Rever Room and everything. I was also like trying to convince myself that you would be Defiant King Gambit as well, just to fuck with me. But again, that's also one of those things. That's just sort of the King Gambit thing. You'd never really know until it pops off one of the Supreme Overlords, and then your calcs are just fucked.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it out so early, like I had to do against the Colossal to be able to take that thing out, because I wanted it to be there, in the back, to have that Defiant. I wasn't sure if you were going to bring that Pardo Shot Ripper Room.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it made a lot of sense as a setup sweeper, but, I also thought about putting Clear Amulet on Iron Hands, which would have been good for potential Strength Sap on our Bolivar Drifblim as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been really good.
If I Clear Amulet there, then Ripper Room was dead, and then even, like, Raikou does not want to come in.
Yeah, for sure.
On me.
Yeah, 100%. Like, that's sort of like that was sort of my whole game plan with Revavroom, was to like force out one of your mons with red card, get off a Toxic or like a Parting Shot or something, and then get in one of my setup sweepers to sweep you in the late game. But that just didn't end up happening because I made one too many dumb mistakes with switching into like King Gambit and stuff. And I've been burned by King Gambit so many times that I just it's not fun playing the Sucker Punch 50/50s.
No, not at all. It's one of the reasons why I drafted it. I'm not going to use it every single week, but when I do, it's just annoying to play against.
Yeah, and then everyone knows how good King Gambit is in draft, and they put so much emphasis on trying to beat it and like playing around it to where you can just like, even if you make the objectively wrong play, it sometimes just works out because people just make dumb plays when playing against a King Gambit.
Yeah, exactly. And last week, I forced Goldango to not even run Make It Rain. It had Focus Blast. I didn't bring King Gambit, and I won because they didn't have that steel coverage.
Yeah, this thing is just like an evil Pokemon. Like, I always hate playing against King Gambit. I should draft it at some point. I love drafting Bisharp. That's always one of my favorite middle tiers to draft. And King Gambit is just more Bisharp, so why would I not draft it?
That's better Bisharp. You got Supreme Overlord on there as well, so you got that comeback potential.
Exactly, you got that. And you're still just insanely bulky. Like, every time I was like running calcs that I'm like, oh, it's okay, I got a fighting type move, and then I would check the calc and I'm like, how does this do 75%?
Like Choppleberry on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I can't remember exact. That's the reaction that I had with Colossal Body Press, because I was saying, I have Body Press for King Gambit. How much does it do? Max 75% neutral, and I'm like, what? This is like, Colossal has a base 120 defense. I don't care if I'm running no investment. How does that not kill?
Yeah, that's just the King Gambit difference right there. My team is just incredibly bulky overall. Mm-hmm. Hands is like 140 something HP. Screamtail doesn't die. Corn, Generator, Avalon. That's just the whole point of the team.
Yeah, you have one of like the best bulky offensive teams I have ever seen. Like, I remember when doing PRs and stuff, I didn't rate it insanely highly just because of the fact that there isn't a lot of immediacy. But again, if you play it right, you don't really need to have the immediacy with these bulky teams sometimes. So, fair play.
Yeah, I saw the PRs and I said that I had to prove you wrong. Now I thought you would your team a little bit higher after going 2-0.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. But yeah, for sure. I definitely really like the team overall. It's the kind of team that I would have drafted when I initially started with draft, mainly just because I'm a bulky offense player at heart. But I've been trying to force myself into playing uh, different strategies lately, just to like help widen my range of what I can possibly do with Mons. And that's sort of where I think a lot of my issues come from. I try to play hyper offense, and then I default back into my bulky offense, and then I just make bad plays.
Yeah, I mean, we all come from somewhere learning with this draft, and I mean, you have Palafin handed to you, you got to use it. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you have a great team about it, and even if it doesn't fit exactly what your play style normally is, I mean, you'll get this down, and then you'll be winning a lot of games.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. I love Palafin. It's one of my favorite Mons. It kind of sucks that he hasn't gotten any. Well, no, he got one kill in week 1, but I can't wait to have the weeks where he's just like sweeping at the end of the day, just taking names.
They will come. They will come for sure.
And then like Weavile, he's another fun mon that I am really happy to use. I don't know how often I'm going to be bringing Cole from now on. Like, I'm sure I'll bring him like one more time at some point, but I'm glad that he at least got his one kill. He got his time in the spotlight.
I know that Oko, man. I was so surprised to get one shot by that thing.
Yeah.
I just did not expect 252 modest, even like with the assault vest at the roll. In your favor, though.
Yeah, and then and that was also another thing with the that I mentioned to you before with the Bleakwind crit, like that kowtow, man. If I because it was also in my favor to win that 60-40, but c'est la vie. Cole, you did your thing, but you kind of disappointed me. Get crit and then lost the damage roll.
That just means it wasn't meant to be.
It just wasn't. Honestly, I do have some plans, and yeah, he is like first one on the chopping block, yeah.
I mean, makes sense looking at your team. You already have like the second best spinner in the format with Iron Tread. It's not like you need to have Cole, especially if you're not going to bring it to like Spike Stack or anything like that.
Yeah, and also too, like, I don't love how both of my Terra captains kind of like to be defensive Terras. I would much rather have like one offensive Terra captain and one defensive Terra captain. That's sort of normally how I like to play. But I got some ideas. I don't know exactly 100% because I showed Drees and he was like, I have some issues, but I rate it. And I'm like, that's probably like one of the best answers I could get from Drees, not gonna lie. Yeah, but do you have any other like weird tech that you planned for on your team at all?
I mean, I didn't have anything crazy. Like Heavy Slam Iron Hands for Terra Fairy on the arm. It's what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I mean, most of the stuff just worked out exactly how I expected it. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah, that's very fair, honestly. Like, I felt like this was definitely a good week for you. Because like having Lug there just shut down so much of the offense that I like to bring, and then with both King Gambit and Screamtail, as well as potential mainly just Screamtail and King Gambit being able to fairly easily shut down Latios, there just wasn't much I could do to break at the end of the day. Like, it was a really good week.
Yeah, there's some matchups where it's like I sit down and I go to prep it, and it takes me like 5 hours. And then there are some matchups like this where I sit down to prep and it's like 20 minutes in and I'm like, I feel like this is pretty good. I think I'm just going to win anyways.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just happens sometimes.
Yeah, and then there's me where I'm cooking out of my mind just to like get a crumb of possibility that I could do something, but what do you know?
I feel like every time that I just like I cook up something crazy, I get crit, I get full parrot, I get the death drop, something like that. It just always happens.
Yeah.
Point, like you just take it on the shoulder and you're like, oh well, it happened.
Yeah, exactly. I've learned to deal with my trauma of getting bad RNG ever since I've missed 4 hydro pumps in a row.
Was that with your iron bundle?
Yeah, I hate that thing. I hate that thing. I have so much trauma with that thing.
Yeah, I remember watching those draft videos.
Yeah, it was not good. That I ended up winning that game, thankfully, but it was not great. Not gonna lie, Iron Bundle is the single sole reason why I rated Maki as low as I did, because I'm just like, if Iron Bundle just fucking misses Hydro Pump, I guess I'm just not scared of it.
Yeah, it misses 50% of the time.
Exactly. If it's not 100% of the time, it is a 50% accurate. That's
Exactly.
I misspoke there, but I mean we're just gonna roll with it.
And like if you need to not get crit on a turn, it's a 50-50 if you're gonna get crit or not. We all know this.
That is also very true. Yeah, RNG is always just 50-50 in Pokemon. Uh, but but yeah, there really isn't much else I have left to say, because I mean, the funny shit that happened pretty much you've already seen. Yeah, kind of wish I brought a different tread set. I thought this was kind of like mid, but it's kind of the best that I could do. But
Well, you're just saving it for next time when you play me in the finals.
Exactly. I'm gonna run Iron Defense, Iron Treads with Body Press.
Then you're gonna catch me clicking Sucker Punch next time.
Exactly, because I'm just gonna set up to +6. It's as shrimple as that. Alright, but
well, thank you for having me.
yeah, of course, my guy. And of course, everybody, if you made it this far in the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to both me and Pup. His channel is linked in the description down below. And of course, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.